What's the longest word in the English language? Smiles. The first and last letters are a mile apart. Today, I'm going to recap a 2017 action thriller film called The Wall. The film opens in Iraq in 2007. Right after the cessation of the protracted war between Iraq and the United States, announced by President Bush. Even though the conflict has concluded, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Matthew, along with his spotter, Sergeant Alan Isaac, find themselves assigned to a desolate pipeline construction site deep in Iraq. Their mission is to monitor a notorious sniper, whose goal seems to be to eliminate every American employed at the facility. They are concealed behind rocks, endeavoring to spot the adversary in the scorching desert sun. They have already devoted nearly 20 hours in the hunt for the alleged sniper. After enduring many hours of vigilant waiting, Matthew grows restless and expresses his belief that there are no Iraqi soldiers in the vicinity. He scrutinizes the fallen workers around him and concludes that the location has been stormed by a contingent of Iraqi soldiers who have since vacated. When Isaac hears this, he seeks to mollify Matthew and proposes the idea that the precision of the killings, with all workers being taken out by headshots, suggests the work of a professional sniper. He even raises the possibility that it might be Juba, a reputed Iraqi sniper. However, Matthew disregards this theory, insisting that no sniper trained in the Rockies could possibly execute such an impeccable job within 30 seconds. As the hours drag on, Matthew's patience finally snaps, leading him to decide to investigate the area personally. Isaac cautions him against it, emphasizing the high chance that a proficient sniper could be nearby. Nevertheless, Matthew steps out from their hidden spot, loaded with his gear, and requests Isaac to provide cover from the rear while he approaches the construction site. As he nears the location, Matthew stumbles upon the lifeless bodies of both soldiers and workers. He picks up a radio from one of the fallen soldiers and proceeds on his path. Meanwhile, Isaac is struggling to keep Matthew in his sights due to his blurred scope. He urgently communicates this to Matthew, but Matthew chastises him for not fixing it sooner, even though it is clearly malfunctioning. In his defense, Isaac points out that the scope was a cherished possession of their departed friend Dean, imbued with sentimental significance. Matthew examines the casualties and is shocked to discover that all were eliminated with perfectly placed headshots. The realization that a sniper could be lurking nearby starts to worry him, and he alerts Isaac. Upon hearing this, Isaac strongly advises him to exit the area as swiftly as he can. However, despite the warning from Isaac, Matthew remains in the middle of the site, trying to determine the possible source of the shots. Isaac cries out over the radio for Matthew to run, but it's already too late. Matthew is hit in the stomach by the sniper's bullet. Witnessing this, Isaac swiftly moves to aid his colleague, darting in an unpredictable zigzag pattern to evade the incoming fire. But before he can transport Matthew to a secure spot, he too is struck in the leg by a bullet. Forced to leave Matthew behind, he successfully takes cover behind a wall. In the interim, Matthew proposes that Isaac should reach out to their base for reinforcements and rescue personnel. Isaac evaluates the gunshot wound on his right leg and makes an attempt to stem the blood flow by tying a belt around the injury. He retrieves the radio from his pack with the intention of connecting with their base, but finds that the radio isn't catching any signals. Upon closer inspection, he discovers that the radio has been damaged by a bullet, rendering the antenna useless and leaving him incapable of requesting aid. Matthew implores Isaac to locate the sniper so that he can counterfire more effectively. Isaac tries to dissuade Matthew, cautioning him that any movement could provoke the sniper into firing repeatedly. Regardless, Matthew attempts, unsuccessfully, to reach for the sniper's weapon and eventually collapses from the combination of intense pain and blood loss. Realizing that there's little he can do presently, Isaac decides to spend the time attending to his injury. After doing so, he loses consciousness. When he comes to, Isaac perceives a faint sound emitting from his radio's earpiece. His spirits lift when he discerns that an officer from the base is attempting to establish communication. Immediately recognizing this, he requests for additional support and medical resources. But when the officer demands him to specify his location to dispatch medical aid, he grows suspicious about the veracity of the caller's claims. To identify his exact coordinates, the person on the other side advises him to stand up and discharge a shot in the air. This suggestion raises Isaac's suspicions further, as it goes against protocol. As he listens intently to the speaker, Isaac realizes that the person isn't an American officer, but an enemy sniper who has tapped into the American base's radio frequencies. Clues like the man's accent aided Isaac in coming to this conclusion. Despite his identity being exposed, the sniper asks Isaac to keep conversing, expressing his interest in learning more about him. Initially, Isaac resists complying with the sniper's request, but when he threatens to fire at Matthew again, Isaac succumbs. He insists that the sniper speak first, and seizes the moment to begin sketching a map of their surroundings on the ground, with the hope of deducing the probable location of the sniper. The sharpshooter questions Isaac about his family, but he refrains from answering, asserting that it's too personal a subject to discuss. He proceeds to mock the sniper, emphasizing that he's taking the lives of individuals striving to uplift their country's economy. On hearing this, the sniper merely chuckles intermittently, declaring his awareness that the funds aren't really intended for his country, but rather for the United States. As Isaac continues to withhold personal information about himself, the sniper threatens to strike Matthew again. But this time, Isaac dismisses the threat nonchalantly, leading the sniper to disclose his knowledge of Dean's death. This revelation leaves Isaac shocked, as he struggles to fathom how the sniper could have obtained such information. After a while, he attempts to take a sip from his water bottle, only to find a hole made by the sniper's bullet. The sniper, aware of Isaac's situation, admits to intentionally shooting Isaac's water bottle, radio antenna, and knee. He elucidates that he conducted these actions strategically to impede Isaac's chances of escaping. He further states that Isaac will succumb to his grave injuries and excessive blood loss before dawn breaks. Next, Isaac strives to ascertain the type of weapon currently in the sniper's possession. He also labels the sniper a terrorist, but the sniper merely laughs off this accusation, reminding Isaac that he's the one in a foreign land with a gun, causing harm to others. After careful inspection through his scope, Isaac spots the sniper concealed amidst a heap of garbage. Given the challenging circumstances, Isaac assumes that the sniper is a professional, possibly Juba. However, the sniper denies being Juba, presenting himself as an ordinary Iraqi citizen. This leads Isaac to promptly infer that the sniper is a treacherous U.S. Army officer. Yet again, the sniper repudiates this claim, asserting that his intent is to kill only those who pose a threat to him. Finally, due to overwhelming fatigue and hunger, Isaac succumbs and collapses to the ground. Later, the sniper discloses his sinister plan of flaying the skin off Isaac's face posthumously and attaching his tongue to his chest. Isaac devises a strategy to deceive the sniper by mounting his helmet and jacket on a wooden pole. However, the sniper sees through this ruse, causing Isaac to lose his helmet, leaving him with no alternatives. He makes a desperate rush to a nearby fallen soldier, hoping to find something useful in the soldier's backpack. But upon his return, he finds his spyglass damaged, rendering him incapable of identifying the sniper's location. During this time, he detects a disruption in his radio signals, leading him to believe that Matthew might still be alive. He calls out to Matthew, disclosing the sniper's hideout in the building. As Isaac engages in efforts to distract the sharpshooter, Matthew discreetly retrieves a reflective emblem from his pocket, closely scrutinizing the mound of debris. As Matthew stealthily inches towards his firearm, the sharpshooter shares his past as an educator in Baghdad and how the demise of his children in an American offensive spurred him on a vengeful path against American soldiers. Concurrently, the sharpshooter quizzes Isaac about his possession of the damaged spyglass. After Isaac refrains from responding for a while, the aggressor threatens to fire at Matthew, oblivious to the fact that Matthew is indeed still alive. Isaac confesses to keeping the spyglass as a memento of his friend Dean, and as a reminder of his own error that led to Dean's death. In the meantime, Matthew places his weapon on the ground, aiming it towards the heap of trash. He fires multiple shots, but as he attempts to reload, the sharpshooter retaliates, hitting Matthew in the shoulder with a bullet. As a result, Isaac proposes a stealth attack on the sharpshooter. Regrettably, a bullet fatally strikes Matthew in the head before he can reach the hiding spot. This sight overwhelms Isaac emotionally, prompting him to express his longing to go home. The sharpshooter assures him that he won't harm him if that is his sincere wish. The sharpshooter subsequently questions Isaac about his continued presence in a land where war has ceased. After a moment's pause, Isaac discloses that he is the one responsible for Dean's death, having inadvertently shot him while aiming at a sharpshooter. He also admits to deceiving everyone by attributing Dean's murder to an enemy sharpshooter. In the midst of this conversation, he hears sounds from the radio transmitter, which prompts him to crawl towards the radio to establish contact with the base. However, the radio's severe damage allows him to only listen to conversations without making any request for aid. It finally occurs to Isaac that the sharpshooter has been communicating with the US base, calling for backup all this while. Each of his attempts to interject in these conversations prove futile. Eventually, Isaac wakes up to a crow pecking at his wounded leg. He manages to procure Matthew's firearm from the pile of trash and fires at the concealed sharpshooter. Spotting approaching helicopters, he pushes down the wall before him to expose his location. The sharpshooter, too, attempts to locate him, but the dust from the collapsing wall obstructs his vision. Isaac fires a shot, uncertain of its impact on the target. He rises from his spot to verify, and when the sharpshooter doesn't retaliate, he assumes his shot was successful, either killing or injuring the sharpshooter. Shortly after, helicopters land behind him, and soldiers carry him away on a stretcher. He tries to warn them about the hidden sharpshooter, but fails to articulate his message to the officers. Once the helicopters take off, the sharpshooter starts picking off the soldiers one by one. Before Isaac can warn them, the pilot is shot, causing a catastrophic crash, killing everyone aboard. The sharpshooter, posing as an American soldier, contacts the American base and requests another rescue team. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.